Hey everybody, it's 3 o'clock. Time for the rock and roll a little bit. Um, anyway, I'm glad everybody's here. I'm Randall Baxter, and we're going to be as soon as I get my little button going here. Yeah, there you go. Lisa, can you see that where it's presented by Randall Baxter?
Yes, I can see the slide move over.
Okay, all right. So y'all know who I am and what I'm doing, and all that kind of good stuff. So we're going to go on down to uh, what we're going to be talking about today, if I don't have any trouble with it. Okay, yeah. So everybody, thanks for coming today. It's been a busy day. I was in uh, Von Orr, Tennessee, which is about an hour drive away, and I met with a couple that had a $1,300 loss in income at the first death, and I was so busy. All I could say to them is you know, y'all done a pretty good job with your assets. I know we need to meet, and we set an appointment for September 27th. And I said, in the meantime, I'm going to do the research and run some numbers. When I come back, are you guys going to want to see your numbers? And they said, absolutely. So we're going to talk about that here later on. But just remember, um, I I try to do what I teach, and I try to teach you what I know. And today, attendees, if you're here today as an attendee, you're going to learn the power of analyzing your personal production to discover the true source of your income and how to identify areas that can be improved for growth. Boy, it's a mouthful, isn't it? But so if you happen to be listening and you have a pencil and a piece of paper, you might want it just to take a few notes or to do a few math situations and just get ready. So um, here. Um, so I want to talk to you a little bit about the vision. I'll settle down here in a minute. I've just been so busy today. I just kind of just walked into the class here, but and I wrote this morning. But I want you to know what my vision is for this class, and it's and for the everybody. I have always wanted to create a nationwide network of trained presenters who can lead their clients to the establishment of the proper estate planning concepts that fit their true purpose for money, and how to select the proper people in their lives to apply their wishes when they cannot speak for themselves. You know, that conversation I had in Von Orr today, mom and dad didn't have any children together, but they had a whole slew of people that they'd brought to the marriage. And there was some, once I drew the family tree for them, and I said, hey, why are we not picking anybody on this side of the family? They stopped and they looked at me and they just said, should we tell him? And I looked at him and I said, yeah, you should tell me. And they told me this long story. It was a great story about why, about what had happened and why their selections. And they started putting their fingers in the family tree circles that I had drawn for them. And matter of fact, they had more conversations with each other than I had with them in certain parts of the presentation. That's where you should be. That's exactly where you want to be. So there's a couple things. I'm just going to ask you a question that are certain values that I think that we ought to have as estate planners or people who are selling estate planning products or giving advice to people about their estate planning. Here's the first question. Are you physically able to do the work? The next question is, do you want to do the work? And then the final question is, are you willing to allow yourself to do the work? And these are pretty serious questions. You know, and what I have found with licensees who are productive, the answer is yes, yes, yes. If it's yes, 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 you're fine. But if it's yes, yes, no, or yes, no, yes, or no, no, yes, if it's not three yeses, then you probably don't have the income that you think you could have. And I think it's important that we analyze the things that we want to look at here. So first thing I want to talk to you about is, what do I mean by achieving a return on your investment? Well, I'll be honest with you. The home company, Estate Docs Pro, they've invested millions of dollars, and they're getting a good return on their investment. I'm going to say I probably have invested hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I'm getting a pretty good return on my investment if I work hard, and knock out the chafe and try to focus. But there's a couple. You can have a return on your investment and get no profit, but you can also get the return on. If you listen to what I teach, you can get a return on the low cost of approaching people who have done business with you in the past. And that was the original premise I made years ago. If I just approach people that I've already done business with and introduce them to the estate plan, I have this easy path to instant income that can arrive on the 10th of every month. You guys will probably get your paychecks in the morning. They credit on the 10th, and the next banking day you get it. So those of you who are actually producing business, you're going to get a paycheck tomorrow. The question is does it have 3 figures, 4 figures, or 5 figures, or 6 figures in it? And how much do you want it to have? And you can't just wish for it. So I teach how to get a return on the low cost of approaching people who have done business with you in the past. That's the first class that I want to teach. That's the first lesson I want you to be aware of. That's the easiest path to profit. But you can also do the return on the cost of personal observations and referrals through advocation. When I was in Von Orr today, the witnesses agreed that they needed to have a conversation with me about their current estate plan. I didn't make the sentence up right then. I just pulled it out of my arsenal. I have an arsenal of 1 bullet and 1 gun and 1 approach. And if I say it enough times to the right number of people, I get all the appointments I want. But then there's the moderately low cost of workshops, which with one licensee last week, we did we did I don't know how many workshops we did. 4 workshops, very low turnout, and for the 10 people that we already had appointments with, we've already got 10-7-3 going, and I think tomorrow we're going to have 10-7-3-1 because I think we're going to do a back end sale. Congratulations, Carter. Good job. But anyway, but you also have to look at another cost, the cost of inaction. There are people that have a license with me that they've had it for 18, 19 months and have never sold an estate plan. It makes me look at them and go, what is the value of that? Because the return on investment keeps going up every time they make a payment. And the question is, why? Why do that? Why not implement what we teach? So anyway, if we look at a return on investment that has no profit, that's easy to do. You can do we even sell that product. We call it a silver license contract, where you go in and do your $495 annual license fee, and then you buy an estate plan on yourself for $695, and that equals $1,190. All you have to do is know in your website, and if you have a question, write that down. You have to know where in your website you go to do the promo code, and it's in marketing. But that would also include no back-end sale. That's the break-even point. There's a lot of licensees out there that think that the best way to sell an estate plan is to charge the wholesale price at $695. We've got some licensees that do that consistently. I guess they're pushing for the back end sale, but you don't have to do that. The value of $1,995 exists. It's there. If you're willing to service your client the $1,995 is a very fair lifetime price. So, but if you want to have a return on investment of zero in your first year, then pay your annual license and buy an estate plan on yourself or sell your first estate plan at cost. But if you sell one at cost, you're going to lose money. You're going to lose about $50 if you do a proper delivery. So, you know, if you're listening, listen to this. This is very important. You are in control of your own destiny. You are in control of your own income. There's many people who have taken the path before you who will show you the way. It made me think this morning when I was getting ready to come to work, I kept thinking, I need to tell everybody to go watch Rawhide and Wagon Train. Those people in those cowboy shows, they signed up with people who had run the trails before and who could guide them safely through the perils of going from St. Louis to Denver or St. Louis to Oregon or on the cattle trail from Texas to Chicago. The cows were worth more in Chicago than they were down in Texas. But anyway, all you have to do is find a mentor, someone that will lead you through the proper path. And to do that, you have to understand what's your return on the investment, what you want it to be. So if you have a return on your investment and you're selling at cost and you have your $495 annual license fee, one sale $695, okay, you actually lose money by doing this if you do a proper delivery. You can't get a good return on your investment when you function and you don't factor any profit in, and I'm going to take that out. You don't have to worry about factoring profit in. You have to factor in value. People have to think that there's value and they have to believe that there's value, and you have to give them value. So if you're using this as a loss leader to the back end sale, you may not understand the value of what you're selling. And if that's what you're doing, and there's some of you doing that, I see the reports all the time, you're saying, hey, I don't need to make any money on this. And I keep looking at it and I go, why would anybody come to that conclusion? And I just want to ask you to go in and read your end user agreement. Read the retail end user agreement. And there's people who get those things, they want to do business with you and they want service. So if you look at the return on investment of selling at $1,995, and I'll be honest with you, all my really good licensees don't waver. They stick with the $1,995. But if you take your $495 annual license fee, but if you sell at $1,995, that's $1,200 profit minus your annual fee. You have a return on investment of $705. That's only if you sell one estate plan. One. If you follow our path and use our cash flow system and our prices, you have an immediate return on your investment of $705 minus the cost of the quality of your delivery. And I teach you guys to do the Godiva delivery. I teach you to go in and use the nicer notebook and the nicer folder tabs and go in and make the delivery and use the opportunity of the delivery to set up the stage for the back end sale. That's how you increase your profitability or your return on your investment. That there's an old guy in the math history from Greece or somewhere that said, "Give me a place to stand and I can move the earth," and he was talking about having a fulcrum. The fulcrum is follow the path of the experienced people. If I was in Kentucky and I saw a sign that said, "This path blazed by Daniel Boone," and another one, "This path blazed by a guy who didn't make it," I'd pretty well want to follow the trail of Daniel Boone. And I would want to say, show me what you know, teach me what you do. And I will repeat your actions. I will not modify those actions. I will follow your actions. And you probably get where you want to go. So anyway, that's enough of that. All business people, and I'm going to assume that everybody here is a business person, realize that they must first get a return on their investment before they can realize a profit. So let me ask you a question. Why are you here? Um, did you not want to get your money back plus a profit? I mean, was that not the purpose? And then we could have a whole class on fixed expenses and break even points. I don't know that we need to do that. I'm sort of giving it to you right now anyway. But first, you have to get your money back. You want that $495 that you paid for your license. You want that back as soon as possible because you can reinvest it. So, um, you know, the keys to this whole project, if you're going to follow, you can be a master licensee, you can be a licensee, you can be uh, whoever, whatever you want. But the keys to the project can be found in your vision, not mine, in your mindset, not mine, your strategy, your tactics, our process. Our process works. And why people won't use our process or think they have to change our process just makes me sometimes just want to scream. But that's okay. You're free to do whatever you want to. But why take the hard road when the easy road is already set out for you? And to do that, you have to analyze what you're doing, what you want to get done. So, so, I like to call it the cycle of success. I guess you've heard that before. And those you people who roll your eyes when you hear the word cycle of success, that's not my problem. You know, I'm showing you a roadmap. I'm showing you the path to make this work and to increase your income. So, so my question for you is just where are you in this process? You know, we're all in different places. Um, I like going to people's homes and meeting them and learning about their family and showing them things that they didn't know and walking out. I don't know what if a family loses $1,300 at the first death, um, and that means that's about $15,600 that they need to have in an indexed annuity with an income rider. If it pays out at 5%, that's about a $300,000 sale, which is about a $21,000 commission. If they want it to happen immediately, um, I don't know much, but I know that if I go in and solve their problem, make $21,000, it's okay, it's fair, it's ethical, they'll refer you to their friends. So but you have to see yourself being able to do that. So So just let me ask you a question because I don't know who all's here. I haven't seen the list yet. But are you a new licensee looking for a mentor with great training and great coaching that leads you to your first sale quickly and know that your next sale is not far behind? If you are, I'll show you how I do it. I'll show you what it costs. I'll show you how to quickly get it done. Um, but sometimes I just need to get people to hang up their hangups. Uh, but the next thing I want to ask you is if you're already a licensee, were you a slow starter looking to get on the right path? You know, if you are, forget it. If you were a slow starter, don't be a slow starter anymore. You know, before we go any further, I just want you to ask yourself these questions. Are you looking for your first sale? I can show you how. Are you looking for your next sale? I can show you how. Are you making an occasional sale along the way? Well, I can't show you how to do that. I don't want you to do that. I hope you will consider just uh, doing more than that in your investment and getting a better return on your investment. Are you making one sale every quarter, every 90 days? You're writing one piece of business? Well, you must be busy at something else, and that's okay. Are you making a sale every 60 days? How about one each month? One each month, that's okay. One each week would be great if you think about it. Um, our organization is averaging writing anywhere from 5 to 8 estate plans a week. You know, but what if you could do one each day? So if you go back and read these questions, whatever your answer is, that's your tempo. And if you put your tempo on a 90-day plan, you will be able to study it and start to build momentum. I don't mind telling you, my momentum drives me nuts sometimes. I work way too hard, and I like to slow it down, but I also like what I do. So if someone walked up to your business and they wanted to come in, does the door to your estate planning business say open or for business or closed? Well, it's closed if you're not getting a return on your investment. So the best way to get a return on your investment quickly is to approach those who have done business with you in the past. Folks, that's the easiest thing to do unless you haven't done a good job with the people that you've done business with in the past. Well, if you haven't done a good job with people you haven't done business with in the past, it makes it a little harder, but you can go in and improve that situation by showing the family tree asset position and go to first interview. You know, if you just do it 10 times in the next 30 days, I do it about 10 times a week. When I have time. If I do it 10 times a week, I don't have much time. But anyway, if you do it 10 times in the next 30 days, 7 will agree to meet you on a favorable basis within a week. And that's what happened to Carter Nelson. 3 will make a decision about changes in their estate plans. A minimum of 1 will make a funding decision. And I call that the back end sell. And the reason I'm telling you that is, if we're going to analyze what you're doing, we have to figure out where you are. Sometimes we have to figure out who you are. But in that scenario, what would be your return on investment in the first 30 days? Now, if you go in and you approach 10 people, and let's say you do it in a month, what is that, 3 a week? Less than 3 a week? And you can do that if you're selling Medicare. You can do that if you're selling final expense. You can do that if you're selling assets under management. You can do it if you're selling long-term care, life insurance. It's easy to do, but you have to build it into what I call your personal observation and the quality of your personal observations. But if you can make 3 sales at $1,995, your gross return on your investment would be $3,600 just on the estate plans. Now, if you don't have plans to close 3 of those, I have to teach you how to put yourself in a position to close 3 of those. And that's okay. I don't mind teaching you how to do that, but first we have to just figure out, I call that making a diagnosis. But if you sell those 3, you'll have 1 average back-end income sale. I promise you, over the long run, you'll average 1 in 3. That's what my average. I hate it. I was talking to the folks up in Minnesota the other day, and I had to admit to them, and they laughed at me. I said, "Gosh, sometimes people tell me no, but 1 out of 3 tell me yes." And 1 out of 3, if they have a $1,300, $1,000 loss, or a $1,300 loss each month on the death of the first spouse, that's a $21,000 commission. But if you're not very good at it, or you're not talking to very wealthy people, your commission might be somewhere between $6,000 and $18,000, but they have the same need and they have the same loss. Now, they don't have any assets. Maybe you ought to sell them a life insurance policy. That's okay too. So if your 30-day return on your investment, if you just approach 10 people, should be a minimum of $9,600 minus the $495 for the license minus your delivery costs. I don't know what that is. That's probably close to $8,500 or 87. So I don't know if $8,000 a month net after expenses is something you're interested in or not. I'd be okay with that. I don't, you just have to decide if you're okay with that. So in all reality, though, I don't think it'll happen in 30 days. Slow starters or you new people, you're going to make some mistakes. I think that what I'm telling you to do will occur within the first 60 days. So I'm not going to say, hey, do this and your income is going to be $10,000 a month in 30 days. But But if you do it consistently in 60 days, I'm betting you your income will probably be close to $10,000 in the first 30 days. But you have to go back to that first frame. I said, are you able? Uh, are you willing to do the work? And if so, the answer is yes. But I think it'll happen in the first 60 days. But with a proper 90-day plan, it can start averaging out every 30 days, and we'll start growing in income and momentum. But first, we have to establish the tempo. So I want to talk about your tempo. And like I said, tempo, I looked it up in the dictionary, and it said the rate of speed of an activity, and it can be planned or unplanned. So my question for you is, what is your tempo in estate planning? And you only have to build your tempo in one area. That's the initial approach. That's the identifying people that you think are going to benefit from a conversation with you. If you can do that 10 times in a 30-day period, you're going to be cooking in 60 days. If you don't believe me, just don't do it. But if you believe me, try it. And if you can't make it happen in 60 days, let's break it down and let's see what's going on. What is it we're doing wrong? Because if you do this right, it'll happen. So I always have to make the assumption that it's being done wrong. I always have to make the assumption that what is it? Well, if you're talking to people with no money and really good at your approach, you're going to get a lot of appointments. You're not going to make much money. So you have to guide yourself into a different market. So, you know, if you and I, or you by yourself, analyze your tempo, you can build your momentum, or I can help you build momentum. Because I can look at you and say, okay, you're selling one case every 90 days. What did you do right that helped you sell that one case? Why don't we increase the number of times that we do whatever it was that you did that was right? But if you can't figure it out, I'll take you back to the beginning and walk you through the process. That's what we're doing right now for those of you on Mondays. For the people that attended the class on Monday, and I know some of you, I haven't got those spreadsheets to you. I'll try and get it done today. But that Monday 9 a.m. class is the starting point. And if you haven't signed up for the Monday 9 a.m. class, give me a break. If you call me in 6 weeks and ask me a question, I'll go, hey, we've been teaching that on Monday morning for 3 or 4, 5, 6 weeks. Why don't you come to the class? Because I expect the people who attend those classes to rocket into high incomes between 60 or 90 days. But we're going to document what we do, and we're going to figure it out. So let's analyze your tempo. First, here, I'm going to show you how to do it. I want you to take your annual production and whatever income you have. If your reported income in 2023 was $50,000, and let's say that's after expenses, and you actually worked a 40-hour week, that takes your hourly rate is $50,000 divided by 2,080. That's 52 weeks, no vacation. And that's about 40 hours per week. Sorry, I let that R out. But what is your hourly rate if you do that? The answer is $24 an hour. I'm going to be honest with you. Most people that are engaged in my licensee program won't be happy with that. They're ready to grow. It's a good stopping point, good resting point, but it's not the final resting place. So my question is $24 an hour while you're in business. Would $120 per hour be better? If you take 2080, which is a 40-hour week times 52, and multiply that by $120 an hour, the answer is $249,600. Folks, that's what I've been trying to teach for years to get you to $20,000 a month. Okay. That's a big step for some people. And when we talk about, are you able, are you willing? Some people are not able to see themselves making that much money. And because of that, they never will. But if you can't see yourself making that much money, then find a step-by-step process and follow it. Find out what you're doing right. Find out what you're doing wrong. you'll get to $250,000. I think that should be a starting point. But it wasn't my starting point. I'm going to be honest with you and tell you what my starting point was. Um, I had just left the New York Life Insurance Company and just gotten a divorce and was living in a little pool house and I figured out that if I could just find some little old ladies with $10,000 and put them in an annuity contract, I could make enough to pay my bills. And then about a month later, I said, I need to find some little old ladies with $25,000 because I've already learned how to find the little old ladies, the widows and things like that. Um, and eventually, after a year or two, I was finding people, widows and their boyfriends or older people and their husbands that didn't have $50,000. They had 100,000. They had $200,000. And I kept saying, that's not enough. But then I found this new system that I developed and I worked on it, and I call it family tree asset positioning. And all of a sudden, everywhere I go, I talk to people that have got $1 million cash or $2 million cash, and they're looking for somebody that can tell the story I tell. And I call it family tree asset positioning, the go-to first interview. But many of you have heard me say this old Chinese proverb. I'm going to say it to you again. If you state the answer, then ask the questions how to get there, you'll get there. So earlier in this hour, I showed you this slide. It looked like this. It said, in this scenario, what would be your return on investment in the first 30 days if you had 3 sales at $1,995, giving you a gross return on your investment on the estate plans of $3,600, one average back-end income sale, average commission $6,000 to $18,000, and a 30-day ROI, which I think your first 30-day ROI will occur sometime in day 31 through 60. That you'll have a minimum of $9,600 minus $495 minus delivery costs. That's $100,000 income, folks. I, with inflation and everything, I don't know if $100,000 income is good. Um, I couldn't live on it. I'm too silly with my money. But I couldn't live on $100,000 a year. So I wouldn't. But if you're not making $100,000 a year, I want to teach you how to make $100,000 a year. And as soon as I get you to where you're making $100,000 a year, I'm going to try to get you to increase it by changing your tempo and increasing your momentum. So look at it. 9,600 times 12 is $115,200. That's just with the approaching 10 people. And I've asked you to approach 10 people. But see, you can either approach 10 people every quarter or every 6 months or every 60 days or every 30 days or every week. So, if you approach 10 people, 10 different people 24 times in the next year, you're going to make $230,400. That's, it works. And the people you're talking to are going to help you. So, for all intents and purposes, to do this, you have to create a tempo that turns into momentum. No tempo, no momentum. And everybody's got a tempo already. You've already got one. If your tempo is, I've been here a year and made no sales, I'm going to say your tempo is 0. But you'll find it easy to organize your time into a profitable, comfortable momentum. If you're writing a case every 60 days, well, your tempo would be 1 in 60 days. But that means you did something right during that 60 days. Let's find out what it is, what you did, and increase the number of times we do it. But don't tell anybody. That's a professional secret. So, but first, what did I spell there? Okay, I missed the H, didn't I? I left the H at home. Sorry. But first, you need these 3 qualities in life. You have to be, and I talked to you about it a minute ago, you have to be able to do the work. If you are not physically able to do it, I can still help you a little bit, but I have to build whatever we do around that physical disability. If you're emotionally unable to do it, you have to be emotionally able to do it. If you're an emotional
Mhm.
wreck every day because of your personal life, it makes it hard to work. But sometimes the emotional state in your personal life is maybe sometimes it's tied to income. Maybe cut out all the crap and all the drama and all the emotions and just do the job. Go in and figure out what you have to get done. And then are you able to do it contractually? There are people that their companies will not let them sell state plans. I tried to tell you about the secret about that. The more people you can find that their companies won't let them sell estate plans, you can take them to lunch and sell the estate plan for them and let them go fund it and share some of that $1,200 with them. And if most of those companies have captive agents, and most of the time the products that those captive agents sell, they're inferior. You know, the open market is where you find the better products. That's because the better products are competing with each other. But if somebody tells you you can't sell a product or you have to sell our product, there's a reason they're locking you in. They may think that their product's the best, but uh, most of the time it's not. So, so the next thing you have to be able, but you have to be willing to do the work. Well, what I found is some people are just not willing to do it. They're willing to go through the motions. They're willing to act like they're working, but they're not following a plan, and they're not. I had a guy send me 10 names on a spreadsheet about 2 years ago. And when I talked to him the second time, I said, let's talk about these people. He said, oh, you don't have to worry about those names. And I said, why? And he said, I just made them up. And I said, well, good. Did that help you out? Did that help you make any money? He said, no, but it's what you wanted. And I said, no, it's not what I wanted. No, he's not with us any longer. But anyway, uh, you have to be willing to do the work. Each of you have a different path to travel. I understand that. Do you? But if you take what I teach and apply it to the path that where you are right now, it'll take you out of it if you're not happy with it, or it'll increase your profitability if you're happy where you are. So you either got a whole bunch of clients already, you've got no or few clients. You need to know your current hourly rate of production. Like I said, if you netted out, if you paid income taxes on $50,000 last year, you're making $24 an hour. If your gross income uh, was more than that, I want to encourage you to increase that by 5, but you have to follow the path. And you've heard me say what I'm about to say before. A goal without a plan is just a dream. So there's folks out there that say, hey, I want to do that, I want to do that, I want to do that. Um, Someone told me the other day, and I believe it came from the heart. And they said, I can do this. I know I can do this. And all of a sudden sales have been coming in. But the answer is do the right thing, follow the right path, choose the right mentors, learn what you're doing, learn from your mistakes. You won't do 10 perfect approaches the first time. So the third requirement, let this one soak in. You have to allow yourself to do the work. If you cannot allow yourself to do the work, you don't have a very good boss, because you're the one who has to make that decision. you know, if you cannot do, I've talked to licensees across the United States that when they met me 3 years ago and they didn't do any production, and I talked to them again, and they're in the exact same spot they were in 3 years ago, halfway bankrupt, halfway uh, struggling on living hand to mouth on or paycheck to paycheck. And I look at them and I go, why is it you're comfortable in that spot? I, Listen, I've been there. I've been that person. It's a whole lot more comfortable to not be in that spot than to be in that spot. But you have to do the work that requires you to get out of it. So And again, you have to state the answer, then ask the questions how to get there. What is your answer? Is your answer, hey, I'm doing well on $25,000 a year? If that's your answer and you're happy there, I don't want to interfere with that. It's a waste of my time. But if you say I'm making $25,000 a year, but I really, for my family's sake, I want to make 75 or 100, 125, $150,000 a year, I'll say, well, if you'll do what I say, I'll help you get there, but I don't want you to change it. And I want you to do what I try to show you. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes I show people how to increase their income and they just blow up, implode, and run. So are there any questions out there? Lisa, can you see anybody's raising a hand to have any questions about what we're talking about? You have to analyze what you're doing. Go ahead.
So, Randall, hi. I have a question for you.
Okay.
I called somebody yesterday and she told me that her company provides a state plan. Is such a thing correct? This
Yes,
information?
there are some companies that will cut into a deal with an estate planner who will come in and do their whole company. Yes, and you can tell them whatever price you want. I wouldn't cut myself down to where I didn't make any money, but you can go in and say we'll do these estate plans, and if you do that, you'll be funding every pension plan in that company when they retire. And yes, Felicia, you can do that, and
So the
you're on a little
company
bit of a
pay,
roll.
it
I'm
will
sorry.
be, they will not charge any fees to do the estate plan for the employees?
No, 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 no. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So they have a legal plan that, I would go in and make the offer and show them why you are distinctive and why you are better. And don't back off too far from your 1995. You can do it for 14.95 if you want to. But some companies pay for their employees to have an estate plan as a handcuff, a golden handcuff. A lot of companies do that. A lot of factories do that with their upper management, middle management. Um, you know, um, you can do this selling one to many just as well as you can selling one to one. So yeah, a lot of people do that. If you find out that they're using LegalZoom or something like that, you can probably go in and just like Tony Filippone does and just replace them left and right because you know what somebody said to me today, this afternoon? They said, you know what? We would rather have you who's explaining it to us than have an attorney do it who doesn't explain it at all. So Felicia, if you've got that lead, go make them an offer. But at the same time, uh, keep your tempo going the way you've got it. You're on a little bit of a roll here, and I would not change my process too much. I would go ahead and continue to do what you're doing too. You can add the other, but keep doing what we're teaching. Any
I
other
have a
questions?
question. Yes, I have a
Okay.
question. What makes how do we make sure that trust is illegal after we create the trust? What do they have
Well,
to do to make it legal?
okay, you have an attorney written document.
Mhm.
Um, and if you go in and read your end user agreements, once you get that document set up, you have to be sure that it's properly witnessed and properly notarized. And you have to do what I call the Godiva delivery. That means you go in and you do a really first class delivery and you explain everything over and a second time after they bought it. But you have attorney written documents. Your documents are legal in all 50 states. You don't have to challenge that. If somebody challenges you, look at them and go, well, put that in writing and let's see what happens. Your documents with Family Estate Docs and Estate Docs Pro are good in all 50 states.
So they don't have to file it with the county or anything like that, like a will.
Well, somebody asked me that today, and what I said was, I think you should file your will with the county. You don't have to file your trust, but you can. Most probate courts want a certified original document for the will. So a lot of people buy a will and then lose it, or all they have is a copy. If you go down and register your will, they've already got a certified copy. So yes, I tell people to register their will. They got to, or you'll show them how to do it. So a lot of people don't. But if you're doing your proper reviews, annual reviews, and you go in and say, hey, have you had any relationship changes, asset changes, or health changes? Have you got everything in order? They'll tell you and you help them. You can't afford to do that at $695, but you can afford to go in at $1,995 and do the annual reviews because you're going to pick up so many future sales. A future sale I'm going to do a feature sale tonight at 5 o'clock. And it's going to be, I don't know, $65,000.
So as
Not a big
long
one.
as, so long as it's in front of 2 witnesses and it's notarized, it's legal and they don't have to do anything further.
Well,
Okay,
no,
just want to make
no,
sure.
no, you do have to do a lot further. You have to
Mhm.
go in and fund it, and you have to
Yes,
deliver it, and you need to service it. And
yes.
there's a lot of people out there selling them and getting their money on the front end sale and walking away, and they usually starve out after about a year or so.
Okay, just want to make
Okay.
sure.
Yeah. Any other questions?
And nothing in the chat yet, Randall.
Okay. Well, um, if you have any questions, you ought to ask them, because I got to get on the interstate and drive to my house and pay this guy who's paving my driveway. And then after that, I got to run over to a restaurant and have dinner with a client who's going to reinvest some of their money. They're going to turn some of their inherited IRA that they have to pull out. They're going to turn into a non-qualified investment into a life insurance policy. And I think the premium is about $50,000. So,
Hey, Randy.
yes, sir. Hey,
Uh,
Carter, what's up?
hey, I just wanted to let everyone know that it works.
Thank you, Carter.
We did those workshops, and I made 3 sales that very next week, right off the bat.
Right.
And
You're
we
going to
got
make
6
some more.
more. We got 6 more to do.
There you go. So that's 9 times 1,200. That's 9,000. That's about $10,000, and that's before we do the back end sale. And I think we're going to do a pretty nice little back end sale tomorrow. If not, we'll do it the next week. So, and Carter, tell me about your experience level in all this.
Well, I've been in the insurance business for 25 years.
Okay, but how
We've
about
known
in the
each
estate?
other for a long time.
But how about the estate planning business?
The estate planning business, I got into it and I got sick.
Okay,
And
and that goes to were you able to do it? The answer was no.
I was no. I got better. I was able to do it. And as soon as I went to work, money started rolling in.
Well, thank you. It's true. And for those of you who doubt what we say, all I can do is say those who follow the advice I try to give people have a good income. Those who change it, innovate instead of emulate, or those who change the pattern or change the deal, their income goes down. Um, I beat the same drum. I establish a tempo. Sometimes I over tempoize my life, and my momentum gets a little bit out of control, and I have to slow it down. But at the same time, I never slow it down beyond um, $25,000 or $30,000 a month. But that's usually if I'm not feeling good or just need to rest. And it's just real easy to regulate your income if you do the same thing consistently every time. Okay, it's not impossible to have $50,000 and $70,000 income months.
Can I ask you one question, Randall?
Sure.
Okay, so you know how we do the first sale and we get the credit card and all that. The second time they come in, do we go through each one of those tabs one by one with the client when they come
I
in for
do.
the second? And you
I
just
do, because
review?
well, when they come in for the second interview, they're usually getting it notarized or witnessed, or they're coming in for the funding interview. If they're coming in for notarized and witnesses, yes, go over it all again, because you've got to set the stage for the back end sale. And that's where you go, hey, you've done a good job with your assets. Now that you've got the proper paperwork, we need to have a funding interview. What I do in a funding interview first is I do the research and I run the numbers. And when you come back in, would you like to see your numbers? That sentence works. That sentence will make you more business. I can teach you about 10 power phrases that'll make you a lot of money. But I need you to build the foundation and learn. And Felicia, you're doing good.
Yes, thank you. But I just want to know if I spend like one by one going through each tab to review in the second session to make sure that everything they want is there. Like, is
Yes,
that
Felicia, they will appreciate that.
okay? And then if you
You
don't
know,
have time to go through the finances, like they said they want to see their numbers, but is it okay to do the rest of it in the third week or is it
Yes.
better?
Yeah, it's better if you take a week off between the delivering of the trust and looking at the numbers, because you want them to have the pillow talk. You want to review in that interview. You want to talk about the gaps and the cliffs and the sure things and the maybes, and you want to plant all the seeds. And the one who is greater at risk, before she snuggles up at night with her mate, she's going to bring it up, or he's going to bring it up, and they're going to talk about it before they come back in. Every big sale that we've done in the past month, and there's been several, they're starting to be average. Has been one spouse motivating the other after the first interview or after the second interview.
And one more question. Yeah, sorry, Dan. One more question I have. If they change, like if there are things that they find later on need to change in a week or 2 weeks, is that okay? If we notarize the trust already, they can still update?
Okay. If they want to make a change, they own that contract, and they can do. You have to let us know, because we're going to do a restatement. We'll change that for free. You have to just let me know, so I can have somebody in Phoenix punch a restatement button, and it'll print out the trust like it's a restatement. But with the power of attorney and stuff like that, they can make changes in without worrying about it being a restatement.
How many times is that possible to make changes after we do the second interview with them? Like if
it's unlimited. They can do as
okay.
many changes that they own it. That's where, if you go in and read your end user agreement, they can change it themselves, or they can come in and see you. You want them to come in and see you. Does that make sense? You want
Yes,
them,
thanks.
because you might sell them a life insurance policy, or a health insurance contract, or a long-term care contract, or assets under management, or an annuity contract. You don't know. But they're coming back in for a reason. They're coming in because they know you, they like you, they trust you, and they want to see their numbers. They want to see their numbers.
Thanks.
What else we got out there? Hey, analyze your income. Look at where your income is coming from. If you're out selling products that you're making $100, $200, $300, $400, $500, $600 on, and you have to go out and find somebody else to sell to, you got two choices. You can either sell to people you have not sold to in the past, or you can go back and sell products to people you've already sold in the past. The people you've already sold in the past already know you, like you, trust you. They are open to the family tree asset positioning go-to first interview. Go make you some money and help your clients and set the stage for a back-end sale. I hope that makes sense. Anything else?
Nothing more in the chat.
Okay. Lisa, let's you and me talk. Can we talk early in the morning, like 6 or 7?
Sounds great. I'll send through a
Okay,
link
good.
for
Just you and me. I've got some things I need to learn from you.
Okay, sounds great.
Okay. All right, everybody. I'm going to get on the highway. I got to cross town and a lot of traffic, and look at my new driveway, and then I got to thank that guy and pay him, and then I got to run out and see another client. It's up to you on your momentum. But if you want to increase your momentum, you can't increase your momentum until you learn your natural tempo. So learn your natural tempo, and then talk to me about it. Attend these classes on Monday, and build your momentum and watch your income go to 5 figures or better. That's all I got to say about that. Anything else?
Randall, someone who's on as iPhone 2 said thank you again.
Well, you're most certainly welcome. Pretend like I'm the Pied Piper, and I'm coming through town, and I'm blowing my whistle, and if you follow, your income goes up. Anyway, thanks, everybody. I got some more work to do. Lisa, thank you for helping me get this done today. Y'all take care.
Thanks, Randall.
Bye.
Bye.